What's going on, everybody? Aaron here with Tier 1 Cabby, and today, well, it's not today, but it already happened. Westmore, the governor of Maryland, officially signed the bill, specifically Senate Bill 334, that bans the transfer and sales of machine gun convertible pistols, which is effectively the Glock. Okay, let's just keep it real. We're gonna call it the Glock. Okay, that's what they're targeting. Why? Because that's what the YNs use. It's what the YNs put switches on. All right, but not the law-abiding citizen. But it only affects the law-abiding citizen. But however, despite the overall gist of it, I do want to take this moment to actually break down the bill itself and actually show you what's actually banned. All right, so let's actually go ahead and talk about, okay, Senate Bill 334. All right, now of course, I go ahead and tell you, this guy Walder Streicher. Now I lived in Germany. I cannot pronounce that to save my life. I believe it's pronounced Boulder Streicher. That's the best I got. Okay, I'm not gonna try and Google Translate. Okay, I'm not putting respect on his name because he's always pissing off somebody, specifically me, and messing with you, the firearm owner, the law-abiding firearm owner. He ain't addressing Glocktavius, or at least he's not doing it directly. But yeah, I digress. I'll come back to him later. But let's go ahead and talk about this bill that that is been signed and is going to go into effect January 1st of 2027. So, the bill itself is Senate Bill 334, and is championed by Senators Love, Smith, and Walder Streicher. All right, now let's go ahead and scroll down to the part where it addresses, well, the Glock, effectively, okay? So, they basically are talking about some of the internal components, basically a cruciform trigger bar, all right, which is, unless you're a firearms, oh my goodness, unless you're oh my goodness, the guy that fixes the firearms, okay, it'll come back to me, I forget, okay, an armorer, yes, unless you're an armorer, you really wouldn't know what that is, okay, but just understand, they're talking about the internal components of the Glock, all right. Now this is where it gets down to, okay, let's go ahead and talk about it, okay. They define a machine gun convertible pistol means any semi-automatic pistol with a cruciform trigger bar that can be readily converted by hand or by using common household tools into a machine gun by the installation or attachment of a pistol converter as a replacement for the slide's backplate. So effectively, they're talking about any firearm that you can put a switch on that bypasses the thing that makes a semi-automatic and basically converts into an automatic gun. That's effectively what they're referring to, which is basically a Glock that can have a switch put on it. That's basically all they're saying with this right here. And they also say a machine gun convertible pistol includes a semi-automatic pistol described under paragraph 1 of the subsection, regardless of whether a tab or other piece of material is located on the rear portion of the pistol frame to block the attachment of a pistol converter, if the tab or other piece of material can be readily removed with a common household tool. So while they're mainly addressing the Glock, they're not limiting it to the Glocks. And that's the one thing Maryland does very, very well. They like to use vague, open-ended statements, so that way it leaves more room for interpretation, which favors the prosecutors to make it easier to prosecute you. All right? And easy as that. They then go on to say what a machine gun convertible pistol is, which effectively my 1911, your 1911 if you got one, is not referred to as a machine gun convertible pistol because you can't do anything to make it automatic. At least not that we know of. All right. Now, let's actually go down. Now, they talk about some other stuff, rapid fire trigger activators, stuff that was already banned, but I guess they just went ahead and added some more stuff and doubled down on it. But nonetheless, though, and then they also say this subset doesn't apply to basically a lot of people that are not you, so don't even bother. All right. Now, let's go down to the part that we really need to talk about, okay? The part that says that this is banned, all right? Give me 1 second. Let me find it. Oh, went too far. Where did I put it? Where'd it go? It was just down here. All right. Now, this is where it says it right here, okay? Section 4-305. Now, except as otherwise provided in subsection on or after January 1st of 2027, a person may not manufacture, sell, offer for sale, purchase, receive, or transfer a machine gun convertible pistol. Okay? Now, it doesn't. Now, you can transfer. What based on my understanding, you can still transfer between family members. Okay, so if you're a family member, your mom, your dad, whoever has HQL, and you obtained your Glock prior to this prior to January 1st, 2027, you can transfer it to another family member through the usual 77R methodology that's already in place now here in the state of Maryland. But they basically say, hey, you can transfer. It's just who can you transfer to? They detail it right here. All right. Now, nonetheless, though, it says, except as otherwise provided in this subtitle, a person who violates this subtitle is guilty of a misdemeanor and on conviction is subject to imprisonment not exceeding 3 years or a fine not exceeding $5,000 or both. So yeah, so basically, if you buy, sell, manufacture, or transfer a Glock after January 1st of 2027, or just about any other machine gun convertible pistol, you're getting 3 years in jail. Okay, so no, yeah, that's basically what they're saying. And they went on to go further. They say a person who uses an assault weapon, a rapid fire activator, or a magazine that has a capacity of more than 10 rounds of ammunition in the commission of a felony or a crime of violence as defined in that of the public safety article is guilty of misdemeanor and on conviction, in addition to any other sentence imposed for the felony or crime of violence. Okay. Is it not already illegal to use a firearm, regardless of the magazine capacity or the type of firearm, to do any type of crime? You basically just rewrote what you already got in place. Okay? So you're not accomplishing anything, Boulder Striker. And on top of that, here's a little history lesson, knowledge for those who are not familiar with the state of Maryland. Here in the state of Maryland, if you use your firearm to protect yourself, you are automatically presumed guilty of a felony. That felony being assault with a deadly weapon, attempted murder, first-degree murder, whatever it may be. You're innocent until proven guilty, but you will be treated as guilty until proven innocent. So basically what they're saying is, based on my understanding of the previous laws and now this, if you use your firearm to protect yourself, exercise legal self-defense, they can then try to tack this on to make it easier to prosecute you, even though you use your firearm in legal self-defense, because here in the state of Maryland, the legal self-defense, or use of legal self-defense, is presumed as guilty until proven innocent. You don't get the benefit of the doubt here in the state of Maryland. So yeah. So while I guess they're trying to be smart and saying, oh, we're addressing the criminal, really they're just figuring out more ways to hurt you. Because that's all what this bill does. It just directly hurts you. It doesn't affect the criminal. You want to know why? The criminals are looking at this bill. He's not looking at this video. He doesn't care about none of this. That's why he's not looking at it, because he doesn't care about none of it, because he's already breaking the law. What new law can you put in place that the criminal is going to stop the criminal? He's already breaking the laws. This law is not going to affect him. Well, it will affect him when he gets caught, but that's if you actually punish him. Because you want to know why? Westmore, you are no longer charging juveniles that do adult crimes as adults. Come on now, what are we doing? So this only hurts the law-abiding citizen. It doesn't hurt the problem person. I cannot tell you. But however, so there's a simplicity of the bill. If you want to look at it, I'm going to link it down below in the description so that way you can read yourself. But this is basically just a real quick update on it. Now, however, I want to go ahead and show you the faces of the people who wrote this bill, who championed this bill, the people who represent you, the Marylander. Now, one thing I would tell my CCW students is anything and everything that's anti-gun that gets proposed here in the state of Maryland always comes out of Montgomery County. Always comes from some senator, some politician in Montgomery County. Here in the state of Maryland, Montgomery County is effectively California. All right. If it's fun, Montgomery County tries to figure out how to ban it. How do I know it? Well, let's talk about Senator Love. Senator Love, that's her face. That's who represents you. Okay, that right there. Where is she out of? Montgomery County, District 16. Okay, well, that's just her. What about Senator Smith? Let me guess. Oh, Montgomery County, District 20. You see him? He's right there. And then there's a good old-fashioned Boulder Striker, okay? Again, Montgomery County. And by the way, this is a guy who proposed Senate Bill 1 that went into effect October 1st of 2023. That right there. So yeah, this guy's face, this guy has his name signed on anything and everything anti-gun. If it's anti-gun, oh, trust and believe, either he thought of it or he definitely went ahead and co-signed it and made it just a little bit worse. That guy right there, Jeff Walderstreicher. Everything anti-gun comes out of Montgomery County. You cannot have fun here in the state of Maryland, especially Montgomery County, because faces like this, faces like these are always trying to figure out how to ban something. But let me ask you real quick, and then I'm gonna let you go. Does this look like a face that understands hardship? A face that's been around for a while, but does it look like a face that understands hardship? Not at all. Do you think this face can relate to you, suffers the same problems as you, deal with the same crap you have to deal with? What about this one? Do you think this face understands you and what you're dealing with as the everyday average Marylander? Especially this one. This one definitely can't relate to you. He does not understand the everyday struggles you go through. You want to know why? Because he came from a good background, okay? He came from a good background. All right? He went to school in Montgomery County. He went to school in California. He's done nothing but study law and politics his whole entire life. He comes from a good background. He don't understand you. But yeah, he represents you. This has been Instructor Hines with Tier 1 Academy. I just want to get you up to date on what's going on here in the state of Maryland with the banning of Glocks effectively in the form of Senate Bill 334. I hope this helped out. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. As always, leave your thoughts, comments, opinions below. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Have a wonderful day.